Okay, Carl Edwards has joined us. Carl is our points leader. And this weekend he's driving the number 99 Scott's Ortho Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. I'm going to lead it off here, Carl. Ask you a couple things. Coming to the Brickyard, it's one of the more prestigious races on our schedule. And then also talk about that, and then also talk about this Sprint Summer Showdown. It's a 5-race stretch where if you win during those first 4 and then win Atlanta, you can be up for $1 million. So talk about the prestige of the Brickyard and also the Sprint Summer Showdown.
Well, this race is huge. I mean, you guys know how big it is. This is one of the biggest races that a NASCAR driver could win. Sprint has upped the ante and made it even bigger with the Sprint Summer Showdown, and that's something we're taking really seriously. We want a chance at this $3 million. We want to win $1 million for the team, for our charities, and for a fan. So, these next 5 races, they, especially in our position, our 99 team running well in the points, we feel like we can pull out all the stops, we can gamble on pit road, we can be aggressive on the racetrack, and maybe have a shot at the Sprint Summer Showdown. That's huge.
Questions for Carl? Raise your hand. Bob?
Any closer to making a decision next year and making progress on it?
Yeah, we're working hard on the contract stuff. I've heard a lot of different ideas out there, but it still remains the same. I'm gonna make the decision that's the best one I can make, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that outside of the media. I'm not. That's the way I want to keep it going. Right now, I have signed a contract, and that's a contract I signed in 2008 to race for Jack in 9, 10, and 11 and try to win the championship. So that is my mission. That's the only contract I have signed right now, and that's the one I'm going to honor. So, that's what I'm doing.
Any closer or next? I mean, anticipate you'll know something in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or?
I can't tell you.
Right, Claire?
But when I do, I'm not purposely withholding anything other than just to be able to get the business side of everything done. And when I'm able to talk about next season, if it's appropriate, I will talk about it, and I'll tell you guys.
So, Carl, have you made a decision in your mind that you're working toward one way or the other? Still on the fence?
I'd just rather not say. I appreciate it, guys. You guys have been very good to me about it, and I appreciate it.
Claire's got a question.
Just to follow up on that, Jeff Gordon was asked earlier if you did go somewhere else, whether you could win a championship going somewhere else and still winning the championship this year. He said he thought it would be possible to do that.
Okay.
Do you think no matter what happens, you could still win a championship?
Well, of course. I feel like I do. I feel like no matter what happens, that we have a great thing going here, and that Jack Roush and Ford and Aflac and everyone, we want to. This is our mission right now, is to win this championship, and that's our goal right now. I feel like it's all of our goals, and whatever happens will happen. But I think that's reasonable to believe it could happen no matter what.
And you don't think that this has at all distracted you from that?
There are a lot of distractions in life, but we're doing really well. I mean, we're leading the points, and we're doing well. We're doing what we need to do. So, I'm a competitor. My job is to do the job that I'm hired to do, and whatever distractions there are out there, I have to be able to shut those off and go race, and that's what I do.
David, right here, Carl.
Hey, Carl. I've asked a lot of drivers this. In golf, you measure by your majors, and tennis,
Right.
In NASCAR, you got 4 major races, and this is one of them. And you haven't won any of those right now.
Yeah. What are the 4 which ones do you see?
500 here, Coke 600, and Darlington.
Yep.
Is that something that you think about? How you measure? Do you feel like you need to win some of those races to consider a great driver?
As a fan, I remember who wins those big races. I feel like there are some really great drivers who maybe haven't won those big races, but at the end of the day, I mean that All-Star win was huge to me, because I thought, man, this is one of the marquee events. It was huge to win it, and there's a lot of pride in that. This race would feel the same way, but but I don't know if I think if you run well enough and if you're a good enough driver, you will eventually win these races. And hopefully I get to, but I don't really measure someone by whether or not they've won these races. But I think if you're good enough and you run well enough over time, you will. So.
Ronnie.
Can you talk about what it's like to run Lucas Oil Raceway Park?
Lucas Oil Raceway Park is a blast. I mean, it's one of the neatest racetracks that I've ever had the chance to race at. I've raced the baby grand stock cars there, USAC Silver Crown cars, the old style cars, the newer style cars that they ran for a while, the trucks, the nationwide cars, and every style of car I've raced there. It's been great. It's been really fun. I think we all recognize that that's one of the greatest racetracks in the country, and that NASCAR shifting the nationwide series to the big track here is a risk, you know. But we also realize that the opportunities for the teams, for the drivers, for the sponsors to come over here and run the nationwide series, it's an opportunity that you just can't pass up. It's too big of an opportunity. So I have a feeling we will be back at Lucas Oil Raceway Park in the nationwide series, in the truck series. It may not be next year, but I have a feeling we'll be back. It's just too much fun.
Go right here, Woody.
Carl, last week at Nashville, you were talking about having a little bit of a cold. Now you sound more like
Right, yeah. Yeah, I still have a little bit of, I'm just getting over my cold, but I guess that's the deal with having kids, you know. She had a runny nose for a couple days, and now I have, so I feel really good, though. I don't sound great yet, but I feel good.
Tom?
Carl, from a technical perspective, what challenges you at this track? And historically, this is a place where the Roush guys have struggled to win. How do you assess your chances as a team this year versus years past?
I got caught on the first part of your question. It's a really good question. The challenges at this racetrack are multiple. You have to have a really good low-end power. You come out of these really abrupt 90-degree corners, and you have to really get the car going down the straightaways. So that's huge. The second thing is you have to be able to turn in the middle of the corner without being too loose on exit. So the car has to be free enough to really change directions and then not be loose off of the corner. So that's really tough. The pit crew has to be really good because you have to have that track position. It's so difficult to pass. Qualifying has to be great. You know, you get a good pit stall, and that helps with the track position. So all of those things are things that we've been working on at Roush Fenway Racing. I feel like our team has been stronger in those respects, and I feel like 2005 we had a really good shot to win this race. I think we're better than we were then now, so I think this will be my best shot to win this race. It remains to be seen. We haven't practiced, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Thank you.
Carl, the points as close as they are this season, a lot of parity in the
Yeah.
series. What do you contribute that to this year?
There's a lot of parity in the series. You know, I think that this car, to the frustration of the drivers a lot of times, is so, all the cars are so close. It really comes down to your pit strategy, your luck, you know, your ability to really get cars past cars on restarts. It's really tough. So, and plus the new point system really penalizes you for a blown engine or a wreck or something. You know, you can get as few as 1 point. You know, so I think all those things have combined to make one of the most competitive points races that I've ever seen. And I didn't predict this. I didn't predict the number of winners we'd have, the points this close. It's pretty interesting.
Is it frustrating for you when, if you have the best car, you're not necessarily front runner?
Oh yeah, it's really frustrating to not win with the best car. We've had a couple of races like that this year, but in the end, as with most things in racing, it's the same for everyone. So, you know, I'm not convinced that NASCAR doesn't want everybody to be frustrated, because that ends up making sometimes for better TV. So, you know, they've got us trying everything we can do, and we're still neck and neck. You know, all these drivers, we've had 13 different winners or something like that. I mean, that's amazing. How many? 13. Yeah, that's a lot. So this is a season unlike any other, and it's what we need right now. NASCAR needed this season. We needed to have, you know, we needed to have Trevor Bayne win the Daytona 500, and we needed Regan Smith to win the Southern 500. I mean, these are great stories, and as frustrating as it was for me to finish second in both of those races, this is one of the neatest seasons we've had for a while.
Right here.
I need to ask you about the pressures you face as the points leader and then going into the last 10
Right.
races. Does that pressure change? Because you've been there before.
Yeah.
You know how to deal with it. Is there a way to step up the game for the last 10? How do you handle that?
The pressure of being the points leader is an interesting pressure, because you don't want to lose the points lead, you know, because it feels good to be leading the points. But with the way the chase is structured, we're not really leading the points right now. I mean, we're third or fourth if the chase were to start today. So you can be fooled, I think, into thinking, oh, hey, we're leading the points, everything, we've got this under control. When we lost the point lead a couple of weeks ago, it reminded us, and I think it was good for us, that hey, we've got to be able to beat these guys regularly. We can't just hang on to a 5 or 6 point lead. That's not going to be good enough. So it is an interesting pressure. Right now it's fun, but I know when that chase starts, it's going to be a whole new level of intensity. Everybody's going to be trying harder.
How much pressure do you feel to win?
I feel it's a really good question. I feel more pressure to win right now than I do to hang on to this points lead, because the wins are the only thing that are going to positively impact the chance of a championship.
Carl, today Jeff Gordon was saying because of the way the grandstands block the wind, that this can be a really, really excessively hot racetrack.
Yeah.
Do you agree, and are you conscious of that?
Yes, I'm conscious of how hot it's supposed to be in the race car this weekend. It's going to be extremely hot if the weather is as predicted. I think Jeff is right. This is the grandstands and everything calm the wind. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of pavement. The temperature's supposed to be 91 degrees. Sun's out. What time's the race start?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So 2 or 3 o'clock should be the hottest point of the day, and we'll be out there about 2/3 of the way through the race, frustrated, sweating. It's going to be one of the toughest, physically, the toughest races of the year, I believe.
Carl, two-part question. Next week, if we go back to Pocono, you won there twice. What are the keys to being successful there? And two, now they brought back shifting. Was that a good thing after racing once this year?
I think Pocono has a bunch of challenges. Adding shifting to the mix it's a whole other challenge. You have to, as a driver, you have to shift correctly. The guys that build the gearboxes and the engines have to realize that they're going to have a ton more wear and tear. I mean, I think Tony Stewart was a great example of a guy that was blistering fast and just had ended up having trouble. And he was shifting in all 3 corners from what I could see. So who knows? So do you go there and do you shift, and do you do what Tony did? Do you just say, hey, I'm going for it, we're going to go as fast as we can, or do you save your car for the end? I mean, there's some tough decisions to be made in the race car. They could have huge outcomes on the season. So I think it's going to be an interesting race, and it's a test of patience and endurance for a car and the driver.
Final question right here.
I'm sure every season feels different, but what have you learned about yourself just as a person through the season so far?
Man, it's a deep question. I've learned a lot about myself as a person this year, mostly just realizing that as frustrating as the last 2 years were, we came off in 2008. It was very frustrating to not win for 71 races. And then and what I've realized through our more recent success is that if you just keep digging and you keep working and you work well with the people around you, that you can turn things around. But it's so easy to second guess yourself and so easy to think that you're missing something, but you just got to keep forging ahead, and that's what I've learned the most.
Carl, thanks a lot. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck, man.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah.